Hare Krishna. Chapter 3. The birth of Lord Shiva. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that his appearance, birth, and activities are transitional, and that one who understands them actually becomes immediately eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord's appearance or birth is not like that of an ordinary man who is forced to accept a matter body according to his past days. The Lord's appearance is explained in the second chapter. He appears out of his own sweet pleasure when the time was mature for the appearance of the Lord. The constellations become very auspicious. The astrological influence of the star known as Rohini was predominant. This star is considered to be very auspicious and is under the direct supervision of Brahmaji. According to astrological conclusion, besides the proper situation of the stars, there are auspicious and inauspicious movements due to the different situations of the different planetary systems. At the time of Sri Krishna's birth, the planetary systems were automatically adjusted so that everything became auspicious. At that time, in all directions, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. There were auspicious stars visible in the sky and on the surface of the earth, in all towns and villages, and pasturing grounds, and within the minds of everyone. There were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing full of waters, and lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers. The forests were full with beautiful birds and peacocks. All the birds within the forest began to sing with sweet voices, and the peacocks began to dance along with their concerts. The wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flowers, and the sensation of bodily touch was very pleasing. At home, the Brahmanas, who were accustomed to offering sacrifices in the fire, found their homes very pleasant for offerings. Due to disturbances created by the demonic kings, the sacrificial fire had been almost stopped in the houses of Brahmanas, but now they could find the opportunity to start the fire peacefully, being forbidden to offer sacrifices. The Brahmanas had been very much distressed in mind, intelligence, and activities, but just on the point of Sri Krishna's appearance, automatically their minds become full of joy because they could hear transitional vibrations in the sky proclaiming the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The denizens of the Gandharva and Kinnara planets began to sing, and the denizens of Siddhalok and the planets of the Charanas began to offer praise in the service of the Personality of Godhead. In the heavenly planets, the angels and their wives, along with the Vidyadharas and their wives, began to dance. The great sages and the demigods being pleased, began to shower flowers. At the seashore, there was a sound of mild waves, and above the sea, there were clouds in the sky, which began to thunder very pleasingly. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devaki, who appeared as one of the demigod days. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at that time could be compared to the rising of the full moon over the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Sri Krishna appeared on the eighth day of the waning moon, there will be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that Lord Sri Krishna appeared in the dynasty, which is the hierarchy of the moons. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on that night, because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty, wherein the moon is himself the original person, the moon was in an virtuous condition. So, by the grace of Sri Krishna, he could appear just like a full moon. In an astronomical treatise by the name Kamanikya, the constellations at the time of the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna are very nicely described. It is confirmed that the child born at that auspicious moment was the Supreme Brahman or the Absolute Truth. Vasudeva saw that wonderful child born as a baby with four hands, holding counsel, love, taste, and lotus flower, decorated with the mark of Sivas, wearing the jewel necklace of Kaustubh stone, laced in yellow silk, appearing dazzling like a bright blackish cloud, wearing a helmet painted with the Vaidurya stone, valuable bracelets, earrings, and similar other ornaments all over his body, and beautiful by an abundance of hair on his head. Due to the extraordinary features of the child, Vasudeva was struck with wonder. How could a newly born child be so decorated? Vasudeva could therefore understand that Lord Sri Krishna had now appeared, and he became overpowered by the occasion. Vasudeva very humbly wondered that although he was an ordinary living entity, conditioned by material nature, and was externally imprisoned by Kamsa, all the pervading personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Sri Krishna, had appeared as a child in his home, exactly in his original position. No earthly child is born with four hands, decorated with ornaments, and nice clothing, fully equipped with all the signs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Over and over again, Vasudeva glanced at his child, and he considered how to celebrate this auspicious moment. Generally, when a male child is born, he thought he could observe the occasion with jubilant celebrations, and in my home, although I am in prison, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has taken birth. How many millions and millions of times should I be prepared to observe this auspicious ceremony? When Vasudeva, who is also called Ankadhankubi, was looking at his newborn baby, he was so happy that He wanted to give many thousands of cows in charity to the Brahmanas. According to the Vedic system, whenever there is an auspicious ceremony in the Kshatriya king's palace, out of joy, the king gives many things in charity, cows decorated with golden ornaments and delivered to the Brahmanas and sages. Vasudeva wanted to perform a charitable ceremony to celebrate Sri Krishna's appearance, but because he was shackled within the walls of Kamsa's prison, this was not possible. Instead, within his mind, he gave thousands of cows to the Brahmanas. When Vasudeva was convinced that the newborn child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he bowed down with folded hands and began to offer him prayers. At that time, Vasudeva was in transitional position and he became completely free from all fear of Kamsa. The newborn baby was also placing his effulgence within the rooms in which he appeared. Vasudeva then began to offer his prayers. My dear Lord, I can understand who you are. You are the Supreme Personality of God, the Super Soul of all living entities, and the Absolute Truth. You have appeared in your own form, which is directly pursued by us. I understand that because I am afraid of Kamsa. You have appeared just to deliver me from that fear. You do not belong to this material world. You are the same person who brings about the cosmic manifestation simply by glancing over material nature. One may argue that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who creates the whole cosmic manifestation simply by his glance, cannot come within the form of Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. To eradicate this argument, Vasudeva said, my dear Lord, it is not a very wonderful thing that you have appeared within the womb of Devaki, because creation was also made in that way. You were lying in the ocean as Mahavishnu, and by your breathing process, innumerable universes came into existence. Then you enter into each of the universes as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Then again you expanded yourself as Shivadakashayi Vishnu and enter into the hearts of all living entities and even into the atoms. Therefore, your entrance in the form of Devaki is understandable in the same way. You appear to have entered, but you are simultaneously all pervading. We can understand your intents and non-intents from material examples. The total matter energy remains intact even after divided into 16 elements. The matter body is nothing but a combination of the five gross elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Whenever there is a material body, it appears that such elements are newly created, but actually the elements are always existing outside of the body. Similarly, although you have appeared as a child in the womb of Devaki, you are also existing outside. You are always in your abode, but still you can simultaneously expand yourself into millions of forms. One has to understand your appearance with great intelligence because the material energy is also emanating from you. You are the original source of the material energy, just as the sun is the source of the sunshine. The sunshine cannot cover the sun growth, nor can the material energy being emanation from you cover you. You appear to be in the three modes of material energy. But the three modes of material energy cannot cover you. This is understood by the highly intellectual philosophers. Although you appear to be within the material energy, you are never covered by it. We hear from the Vedic version that Supreme Brahman exhibits his effulgence and therefore everything becomes illuminated. We get from the Brahma Samhita that the Brahma Jyoti or the Brahman effulgence emanates from the body of the Supreme Lord, and from the Brahman effulgence all creation takes. It is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is the support of the Brahman effulgence. Therefore, originally, He is the root cause of everything. But persons who are less intelligent think that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes within this material world, He accepts the material qualities. Such conclusions are not very mature, but are made by the less intelligent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is directly and indirectly existing everywhere. He is the outside this material creation, and He is also within it. Within this material creation, not only has Garbhodakashai Vishnu, He is also within the atom. The existence of the atom is due to His presence. Nothing can be separated from His existence. In the Vedic injections, we find that the Supreme Soul, or the root cause of everything, has to be searched out because nothing exists independently of the Supreme Soul. Therefore, the material manifestation is also a transformation of His potency, both inert matter and the living force. The souls are emanations from Him. Only the foolish conclude that when the Supreme Lord appears, He accepts the conditions of matter. Even if He appears to accept a material body, He is still not subjected to any material condition. Krishna has therefore appeared and defeated all the imperfect conclusions about the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My Lord, your appearance, existence, and disappearance are beyond the influence of the material qualities, because your Lordship is the Supreme Brahman and the controller of everything. There is nothing inconceivable or contradictory in you, as you have said, but nature works under your superintendence, just like a government officer working under the orders of the chief executive. The influence of subordinate activities cannot affect you, since you are the Supreme Brahman. Everything is existed within you, and since all the activities of material nature are controlled by your lordship. None of these activities affect you. Your god Sukla, Suklam or whiteness, is the symbolic representations of the absolute truth because it is unaffected by the material qualities. Lord Brahmaji is called Rakta or red because Brahma represents the quality of passion for creation. Darkness is entrusted to Lord Shivji because he analyzes the cosmos. The creation, annihilation, and maintenance of this cosmic manifestation are conducted by your potency, yet you are always unaffected by those qualities, as confirmed in the Vedas. Hare Nirguna Sakshat, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always free from all material qualities. It is also said that the qualities of passion and ignorance are non existent in the person of the Supreme Lord. My Lord, you are the Supreme Controller, the personality of Godhead, the Supreme Great, maintaining the order of this cosmic manifestation. Yet, in spite of your being the Supreme Controller, you have so kindly appeared in my home. The purpose of your appearance is to kill the followers of the demonic rulers of the world who are in the dress of royal princes but are actually demons. I am sure that you will kill all of them and their followers and soldiers. I understand that you are appearing in order to kill the uncivilized Kamsa and his followers, but knowing that you will kill so many to appear in order to kill him and his followers. He has already killed so many of your predecessors, your elder brothers. Now he is simply awaiting the news of your birth. As soon as he hears about it, he will immediately appear with all kinds of weapons. So, after this prayer of you, Devaki, the mother of Sri Krishna, offered prayers for brothers set for sides. Devaki said, my dear Lord, your eternal forms like similar incarnations emanating from Vishnu are described in the Vedic literature as original. You are original because all your forms as incarnated are outside of this material creation. Your form was existing before this cosmic manifestation was created. Your forms are eternal and all pervading. They are also self effulgent, changeless, and uncontaminated by the material qualities. Such eternal forms are every coexistence and full of bliss. They are situated in transitional goodness and are always engaged in different pastimes. You are not limited to a particular form only. All such transactional eternal forms are self-effulgent. I can understand that you are the Supreme Lord Vishnu. After many millions of years, when Lord Brahmaji comes to the end of his life, the annihilations of the cosmic manifestation takes place. At that time, the five elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether, enter into the Mahatattva. The Mahatattva then enters by the force of time into the non-manifested total material energy. The total material energy enters into the energetic pradhan, and the pradhan enters into you. Therefore, after the annihilation of the whole cosmic manifestation, you are with your transitional name, form, qualities, and paraphernalia. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisance to you because you are the director of the unmanifested total energy and the ultimate reservoir of the material nature. My Lord, the whole cosmic manifestation is under the influence of time, beginning from the moment up to the duration of the year. All act under your direction. You are the original director of everything and the reservoir of all potent energies. All the conditioned souls are continually fleeing from one body to another and one planet to another, yet they do not get free from the onslaught of birth and death. But when one of these fearful living entities comes under the shelter of your lotus feet, down betrayed energy of being attacked by formidable death. This statement by Devaki is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord Himself. Here the Lord says that even after traveling all over the universe, from Brahmalok to Patalok, one cannot escape the attack of birth, death, disease, and old age. But one who enters the kingdom of God, the Lord says, is never again obliged to come to the material world. Therefore, my Lord, I request you to save me from the cruel hands of Kamsa, the son of Ugrasen. I am praying to your Lordship to please rescue me from this fearful condition, because you are always ready to give protection to your servitors. The Lord has confirmed this statement in the Bhagavad Gita by assuring Arjuna, who may declare to the world, my devotees shall never be vanquished. While thus praying to the Lord for rescue, Mother Devaki, nothing less, express her motherly affection. I understand that this transitional form is generally pursued in meditation by the great sages, but I am still afraid because as soon as Kamsa understands that you have fear, he might harm you. So I request that for the time being you become invisible to our material eyes. In other words, she requested the Lord to assume the form of an ordinary child. My only cause of fear from my brother Hamsa is due to your appearance. My Lord Madhusudan, I wish that Hamsa may not learn that you are already born. Therefore, I request you to console this four-round form of your Lordship, which holds the four symbols of Vishnu, namely the concept, that is, the club and the lotus flower. My dear Lord, at the end of the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation, you put the whole universe within your abdomen. Still, by your unalloyed mercy, you have appeared in my womb. I am surprised that your activities of ordinary human beings just to please your devotee. On hearing Devaki, the Lord replied, "My dear mother, in the millennium of Sambhumalu, my father Vasudeva was living as one of the Prajapatis. His name at Sutta, and where his wife named when Lord Brahmaji was desiring to increase the population. He requested you to generate offspring. You control your senses and perform severe austerities by practicing the breathing exercises of the yoga system. Both you and your husband could tolerate all the influences of the material laws, the rainy season, the onslaught of the wind, and the scorching heat of the sunshine. You also executed all religious principles. In this way, you were able to cleanse your heart and control the influences of the material laws. In executing your austerity, you used to eat only the leaves of the trees which fell to the ground. Then, with a steady mind and controlled sex drive, you worship me, desiring some wonderful benediction from me. Both of you practice civil austerities for 12,000 years by the calculation of the demigods. During that time, your mind was always absorbed in me when you were executing devotional service and always think within your heart. I was very much pleased with you, O sinless mother. Your heart is therefore always pure. At that time also, I appear before you in this form just to fulfill your desire, and I ask you to ask whatever you desire. At that time, you wish to have me born as your son, although you saw me personally, instead of asking for your complete liberation from material bondage. Under the influence of my energy, you asked me to become your son. In the first to appear in the material world, the Lord selected his mother and father, namely Krishna and Sudha, respectively. Whenever the Lord comes as a human being, he must have a mother and a father. So he selected Krishna and Sudha to be his mother and father perpetually, and on account of this, neither Krishna nor Sudha could ask the Lord for liberation. Liberation is not so important as the transitional loving service of the Lord. The Lord could have awarded Krishna and Sudha immediate liberation, but he preferred to keep them within this material world for his different appearances, as will be explained in the following verses. On receiving the benediction from the Lord to become his father and mother, Sutta and Krishna retire from the activities of austerity and live as husband and wife in order to beget a child who was the Supreme Lord himself in due course of time. Krishna became pregnant and gave birth to the child. The Lord spoke to Devaki and Vasudeva. At that time, my name was Krishna Garba. In the next millennium, you took birth as Aditi and Kashyap, and I became your child of the name of Indra. At that time, my form was just like a dog, and for this reason, I was known as Vamandev. I gave you the benediction that I would take birth as your son 3 times. The first time I was known as Prishnikarpa, born of Krishnuta. In the next birth, I was Upendra, born of Aditi and Kashyap. And now for the third time, born as Sri Krishna from you, Devaki and Vasudeva. I have appeared in this Vishnu form just to convince you that I am the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. Again, taken birth, I could have appeared just like an ordinary child, but in that way, you would not have believed that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had taken birth in your womb. My dear father and mother, you have therefore raised me many times as your child with great affection and love, and I am therefore very much pleased and obliged to you. And I assure you that this time you shall go back home, back to Godhead, on account of your perfection. I know you are very concerned about me. Head of Lord of Kamsa. Therefore, I order you to take me immediately to Gokul and exchange me for the daughter who has just been born to Yasoda. Having spoken thus to his father and mother, the Lord turned himself into an ordinary child in their presence and remained silent, being ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva prepared to take his son from the delivery room, and exactly at time when daughter was born to Nanda and Yashoda, she was Maya, the internal potency of the Lord. By the influence of this internal potency, Yogmaya, all the residents of Kamsa's palace, especially the doorkeepers, were overwhelmed with deep sleep and all the palace doors open. Although they were bound and shackled with iron chains, the night was very dark, but as soon as Vasudeva took Sri Krishna on his lap and went out, he could see everything just as in the sunlight. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Sri Krishna is just like sunlight, and that wherever there is Sri Krishna, the illusory energy, which is compared to darkness, cannot remain. When Vasudeva was carrying Sri Krishna, the darkness of the night disappeared. All the prison doors automatically opened. At the same time, there was thunder in the sky and severe rainfall. While Vasudeva was carrying his son Sri Krishna in the falling rain, Lord says in the shape of a serpent spare his hood was the head of Vasudeva, so that he would not hamper by the rainfall. Vasudeva came onto the bank of the Yamuna and saw that the water of the Yamuna was roaring with waves and that the whole span was full of foam. Still in that furious feature, the river gave passage to Vasudeva to cross, just as the great Indian Ocean gave a path to Lord Ram when he was bridging over the Gulf. In this way, Vasudeva crossed the river Yamuna. On the other side, he went to the place of Nanda Maharaj, situated in Gokul, where he saw that all the cowherd men were fast asleep. He took the opportunity to silently enter the house of Sudha, and without difficulty he exchanged his son for the baby girl newly born here. And after entering the house over very recently and exchanging the boy for the girl, he returned to the prison of Kamsa and silently put the girl on the lamb of Devaki. He again clamped the shackles on himself so that Kamsa could not recognize that so many things has happened. Mother Yasoda understood that a child had been born to her, but because she was very tired from the labor of childbirth, she fell fast asleep. When she awoke, she could not remember whether she had given birth to a male or a female child. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter of Sri Krishna, the birth of Lord Sri Krishna. Chapter 4, Kamsa begins his persecutions. After Vasudeva adjusting things as they had been before, he carried Sri Krishna to Gokul, and all the doors and gates became similarly closed. The gatekeepers awoke and heard the newborn child crying. Kamsa was waiting to hear the news of the child's birth, and the gatekeepers immediately approached him and informed him that the child was born. At that time, Kamsa got up from his bed very quickly and exclaimed, "Now the cruel date of my life is gone." Kamsa became perplexed now that his date was approaching and his hair scattered. Immediately, he proceeded toward the place where the child was born. Devaki, on seeing her brother approaching, prayed in a very meek attitude to Kamsa, "My dear boy, please do not kill this female child. I promise that this child will be the wife of your son. Therefore, don't kill her. You are not to be killed by any female child. The woman was dead. You are to be killed by a male child. So please do not kill her. My dear brother, you have killed so many of my children." This is not your fault. You have been advised by demonic friends to kill my children. But now, I beg you to execute this girl at least. Let her live as my daughter. Kamsa was so cruel that he did not listen to the grateful prayers of his sister Devi. He forcibly grabbed to the He forcibly grabbed the newborn child to evoke his sister and attempted to dash her on a stone mercilessly. This is a graphic example of cruel demon who could sacrifice all relationship for the sake of personal gratification. But the child immediately slipped out of his hand, went up to into the sky, and appeared with eight arms as a younger sister of Vishnu. She was decorated with nice garments and flower gardens and ornaments. In her eight hands, she held lance arrows, sword, consentis, glove, and shield. Seeing the appearance of the child was actually the goddess of Durga. All the demigods from different planets like Siddhalok, Charanlok, Gandharvalok, Apsaralok, Indralok, and Ugarlok presented her with various articles and began to offer their respective prayers. Furthermore, the goddess addressed Kamsa, "You rascal, how can kill me? The child who will kill you is already born before me, somewhere within this world. Don't be so pure, dear pure sister." After this appearance, Goddess Durga became known by various names in various planet parts of the world. After hearing these words, Kamsa became very much overwhelmed with fear. Out of pity, he immediately released Vasudeva and Devaki from the bondage of their shackles and very politely began to address them. He said, "My dear sister and brother-in-law, I have acted just like a demon in killing my own nephews, your children, and thereby I have given up all consideration of our intimate relationship. I do not know what will be the results of these impious acts of mine. Probably I shall be sent to the hell where killers of Brahmanas go. I am surprised, however, that my dear sister and brother-in-law, I have acted just like a devil in killing my own nephews, your children, and thereby I have given up all consideration of your intimate relationship. I do not know what will be the result of these impious acts of mine. Probably I shall be sent to the hell where killers of Brahmanas go. I am surprised, however, that the celestial prophecy has not come true. It is not only in human society that false propaganda is found. Now it appears that even the celestial beings speak lies. Because I believe in the words of the celestial denizens, I have committed so many sins by killing the children of my sister. My dear Vasudeva and Devaki, you are both very great souls. I have no instructions to give you, but still I request that you not be sorry for the death of your children. Every one of us is under the control of superior power, and that superior power does not allow us to remain together. We are bound to be separated from our friends and relatives in due course of time, but we must know for certain that even after the disappearance of the different material bodies, The soul remains intact eternally. For example, there are many pots made of earthly clay, and they are prepared and also broken. But in spite of this, the earth remains as is perpetually. Similarly, the bodies of the soul, under different conditions, made and destroyed. But the spirit soul remains eternally, so there is nothing to lament over. Everyone should understand that this material body is different from the spirit soul, and so long as one does not come to that understanding, he is sure to accept the process of transmigration from one body to another. My dear sister Devki, you are so gentle and kind. Please excuse me. Don't be afraid by the date of your children, which I have caused. Actually, this was not done by me because all these are predestined activities. One has to act according to the predestined plan willingly. People misunderstand that with the end of the body, the self dies, or they think that one can, one can kill another living entity. At these misconceptions, publics want to accept the conditions of material existence. In other words, as long as one is not firmly convinced of the eternity of the soul, one is subjected to the tribulation of being killed and killed. My dear sister Devki and brother-in-law Vasudev, kindly excuse the atrocities I have committed against you. I am very poor-hearted, and you are so great-hearted. So take compassion upon me. And while Kamsa was speaking to his brother-in-law and sister, tears froze from his eyes, and he fell down at their feet, bearing the words of Durga Devi, whom he had tried to kill. Kamsa immediately released his brother-in-law and sister. He personally unlocked the iron shackles and very sympathetically shows his friendship for his family members. When Devaki saw her brother so repented, she also became pacified and forget all his atrocious activities against her children. Vasudeva also forgetting all past incidents, spoke smilingly with his brother-in-law. Vasudeva told Kamsa, my dear fortunate brother-in-law, what you are saying about the material body and the soul is correct. Every living entity is born ignorant, misunderstanding this material body to be his self. This conception of life is due to ignorance, and on the basis of this ignorance, we get enmity or friendship, lamentation, jubilation, fearfulness, envy, great illusion, and madness are friend features of our material concept of life. A person influenced like this engages in enmity only due to the material body. Such activities, we forget our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva took the opportunity of Kamsa's benevolence and informed him that activities were also due to this misconception of life, namely taking the matter body to be the self. When Vasudeva talked with Kamsa in such an illuminating way, Kamsa became very much pleased, and his guilt for killing his nephews subsided. With the permission of his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudeva, he returned to his home with a relieved mind. But the next day, Kamsa called all his counselors together and narrated to them all the incidents that had happened the night before. All the counselors of Kamsa were demons and eternal enemies of the demigods, so they become depressed upon hearing their master speak of the night's events. And although they were not very much experienced or learned, they began to give instructions to Kamsa as follows. Dear sir, let us now make arrangements to kill all children who were born within the last 10 days in all towns, countries, villages, and pasturing grounds. Let us execute these plans indiscriminately. We think that the demigods cannot do anything against us if we perform these atrocities. They are always afraid of fighting with us, and even if they wish to check our activities, they will not dare to do so because of your immeasurable strength. They fear you go. Indeed, we have practical experience that whenever you stood to fight with them and began to shower your arrows on them, they immediately fled in all directions just to save their lives. Many of the were unable to fight with you, and they immediately surrender themselves unto you by losing their turbans and the tufts of hair on their with folded hands. They beg you to spare them and said, my lord, we are all afraid of your strength. Please release us from this dangerous fight. We have also seen many times that you will never gain such surrender fighters. When they were all fearful, their bows, arrows, and chariots, broken, forgetful of their military activities, and unable to with you. So actually, we have nothing to fear from these because they are very proud of being great fighters in peacetime outside the warfare. But actually, they cannot challenge or military power on the warfare. Also, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shivji, and Lord Brahmaji are always ready to help the demigods, headed by Indra. No reason to be of them. As far as Lord Vishnu is concerned, he has already hidden himself within the hearts of all